Hey everybody, it's Ringingworm. We're going to do another video today. This time we're going to take a look at the MMS 201 Jor-El character from the Man of Steel. This is the character played by Russell Crowe. I figured we'd talk about this one today because I didn't buy this figure, guys. This is a... I don't know if this was a mistake. I don't know if this was a perk. There really wasn't any information that came with it, but I ordered the original Man of Steel figure, the Superman one that I've already done a review on, and this came with it. So it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a $200 figure that I got for $0. So I talked to you guys earlier about in another video where I said I like to buy through Show Collectible because you get perks. Now, what I mean by perks is you get points every single time you buy a figure from Show Collectibles. They're kind of like bonus dollars or whatever. So like after you accumulate so many dollars, you can make a purchase and you can get a discount on a figure, or you can just save up enough points and get something free of charge. I think by the time I'm done with all the figures I got coming out with Justice League and whatever, I think I'm going to have enough just to get a free figure overall. So, but when I ordered the Man of Steel, remember I told you guys the Man of Steel, the Henry Cavill Man of Steel from the Man of Steel was my absolute first Hot Toys figure that I ever bought from Sideshow or any other company. And that figure came with a few other items. So I got in the mail, and this is why I think Jor-El was free. So with it, I got this item right here. I got this keychain. I've never opened it, but it's a Sideshow Collectibles keychain. And then I got this. Now inside this, I don't have it with me because it's at work actually, is it came with a flash drive with about 4 to 8 gigabytes of memory. I can't remember. And it also had the same logo as the keychain on it for Sideshow Collectibles. So that came free of charge, and then I got this 1/6 scale Jor-El. Now, I loved the movie, so for me it was, I'm not going to sell this figure. I was very honored to get it. I don't know if I would have bought this figure outright, though, because I don't know if he meant that much to me to end up buying it. But, hey, what a perk to get from my first purchase from Sideshow Collectibles. I mean, basically they gave me, I purchased the Man of Steel for a little over $200 or $250 or whatever it was, and I got this $200 figure for free. So it was like, I mean, it was just like getting the item for free, I guess you could say. I mean, they gave me pretty much what I spent on it in free gifts. So, guys, just absolutely phenomenal company so far with Sideshow Collectibles. Now, if you haven't heard what I've said in the past, now Sideshow is the authorized dealer for Hot Toys. Hot Toys is the company that makes these figures. So when I say Sideshow or when I say Hot Toys, just understand sometimes I'm talking about the company I'm buying the figures from versus the store or the company that actually makes them. And I'll give you an example. If you go into a Walmart store and you buy a gallon of milk, for example, the company that's selling it to you is Walmart, but they're not the ones that's manufacturing necessarily the gallon of milk. It's Meadow Gold or whatever company is in your local area. One thing that no other figure has come with since I bought this figure, which leads me to believe the reason why I got the Jor-El figure, is I got this little kind of catalog that shows different figures, and most of these items I think are statues which are made by Sideshow Collectibles directly, but some of them aren't. So I mean, I got this that came with it. I think this is out of date now, but it did come with that as well. So just really quick, some of the things that he comes with. He comes with this kind of very, very simple instructions, kind of like the evil Superman that I showed you in the previous video. So nothing really spectacular. There's nothing written on the back or anything like that. He comes with this rifle, which I don't have him posed with because he only uses it in one scene in this outfit, and I don't think it's necessary to have it. But I do have him. He does come with this, and this is I don't know if this is an exclusive, but he comes with the original codex before he attaches it to Superman's DNA. He comes with that, and I have him holding that in his hand like so, and I really like that. It kind of gives it a Shakespearean reference that I feel that it has. He comes with some extra hands. He comes with some fists, the trigger hand, and the two hands that he has in there. And he comes with his base. So I'll just pull him away for a second. And he comes with this base. Now, the one thing I don't like about this base, I do like it. I like the Superman S shield. It's muted down in more of the Kryptonian colors. But I hate this piece right here because it really doesn't. It doesn't really work for posing him because it's more meant for Superman in a flying pose. I've got it bent to where he kind of just stands next to it, and you know, I could hide it if I want to, or have him standing on it, or whatever. But it's not very practical compared to some of the other figures. I wish they would have gave us something more like what they did with Batman, where it just kind of sits up underneath his crotch and holds him in place so he can stand. Because when they're on Krypton, they can't fly. That's their natural environment. So it's I don't know why they included that particular base. Now, a couple questions that you might have about this particular figure is, does he have the costume that he wore in the movie underneath it? Well, guys, most of the time, Sideshow Collectible gives you these figures, and they're not meant to be undressed. Meaning, it's not like if I took this piece off, that underneath he would have the Superman S shield or anything like that right before he dives in for the Codex. So my advice is don't take off the costume. It's not advisable. I don't think they guarantee anything if you try to take them off either, versus if it comes in damaged or whatever. So this is basically the costume he gets. Now, as I said kind of in an earlier video, they're a cape-wearing society. Now this is just like the Superman cape. It has a wire in it, so you can pose it if you want to. I don't see any reason why having it in any other pose than the down one, because he didn't wear it very long. Now the costume itself is it does open up. Oop, I just lost the codex there. You can see his boots are more of a black, more of a black color. Very, very thick and nice material. The plastic S shield that emulated kind of the bone with the additional symbols and whatnot. Just an all-around good figure. And then the likeness of Russell Crowe, I think, is fantastic. I do think that the likeness on Russell Crowe is great. Now, he does have the same gauntlets as Superman right here. They're just darker in color to match the rest of his uniform. He's got, you know, wrist movement and hand movement. One thing I like about this, I don't know if you can see it very well, is you can see that the blue on his costume is the same blue, a lot like Superman's costume. So you can see a lot of the similarities. And his cape is a red color, just like, you know, so it's not as far of a leap from the costume that Marlon Brando wears in the original Superman movie, and Superman from Christopher Reeve Superman, where it's that bright red, blue, and yellow, which you don't actually see on any Kryptonian. So it doesn't really make sense that he would wear that costume in the original Superman. But when Jor-El takes off this particular costume after he flees the council chambers from Zod and his minions, he takes off his top and he has a blue costume on underneath it with the Superman S shield on it, and it's the more muted color, the darker color, but it's not hard to see the stretch between the reds, because his cape is red, for example, and the costume is blue. And when you see his battle armor costume, in the opening scenes on Krypton. It's white and blue, so you can see that they have different colors. It's not all white like it was in the original Superman, or black. There are different colors of costumes and whatnot. And I had a theory too, is when he uploaded the command key into the ship, Jor-El immediately started making his costume. And his costume was based on a traditional Kryptonian design. And if you say, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense, remember when Zod captures the Man of Steel, or captures Superman, and he's in his dream sequence, they're both wearing a black version of the same costume. So it's not that far of a stretch to think that the costume Superman wears in the Man of Steel is an old, outdated model. But I think the ship, because the ship is designed to create a Kryptonian civilization on a different planet, it's not a hard stretch for me to think that they have the technology to generate a costume on that ship. So just a lot more sense making, as far as I'm concerned, on the Man of Steel versus the original Superman. So just a couple things. I want to get Mr. Jor-El up here closer so you can see some of the details in his face. I mean, that is Russell Crowe. He's got the skin blemishes on the side of his cheek. He's got on both sides. He's got his beard. He's got that same serious look on his face. I'm just about as real as a character can look, without actually being real. I mean, I think that the level of detail in the character was really great. Now, on eBay, if you want to buy this character now, you can get him for less than $200. So I think that's part of the reason why they gave me this figure, which I'm not complaining about. I do enjoy having him in my case with the Man of Steel. But I can see why they would include this, because he's not going for a lot online. And if you remember when I said about in Superman 3, you can't get the Superman 3 figure for less than like $300, $350. So demand comes into play. And like I was saying in Superman 3, it leads me to believe that there's more fans of that movie than people want to admit, because you can't find them. However, Jor-El, I don't know if you can still get him from Sideshow Collectibles, but I know you can get him from eBay for a very good price. And that's something that you guys might want to take in consideration. So would I have bought this figure if they hadn't gifted it to me? I don't think I would have, but am I glad I have it? Absolutely. So would I recommend you buying it now? At the price he's at, guys, I absolutely would recommend you to buy him, because the price you just can't beat, first of all. And when you see him standing in a case, and I'll try to include a picture of that in my review, when you see him standing in the case, you look at him and you're like, okay, that just makes too much sense to ignore. He looks like he should be in there with the Man of Steel. And for me, that's important. You might say, well, Dustin, outside of the computer generation, Russell Crowe didn't share much time with him. Again, guys, it's personal preference for your collection. In my collection, I have Terrence Stamp and Gene Hackman, the Mattel version of the 1/6 scale figures, in the same case as Christopher Reeve. And I just feel like they have to be in there, because they just look like they should be there with him, even though the detail on those characters is not as good as this particular figure is. So give me a second. I'm going to put the original Man of Steel that I got next to him, and you can see them. All right, guys. So you can see them together. Like I said, I'll show you what they look like together in the case, so you can get a better idea of how I display them. It really comes down to personal preference, but like I said, I definitely think both these figures are worth picking up. But they just go together. I mean, I don't know how else to describe that. It just, once you get them in your collection, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So it really comes down to personal preference. And like I said, I didn't end up paying for them, so I'm not going to complain either way. I'm going to display them all day long. And, you know, it's funny because I've heard some people say, and I think the one that I like the most is his channel is called Optibotamus. Most of you may know that. Maybe you don't know that. But when he talks about his Hot Toys, he talks about he'll sell a figure like he would sell this Man of Steel figure so he could get the Batman v Superman Man of Steel figure. And a lot of people might have gotten the Jor-El figure and sold him. These, to me, guys, you can call me a hoarder if you want. When it comes to the DC collectibles, you can call them like crack. I can't let go of them. I mean, I literally look at some of the items in my collection and I go, where am I going to put something new? I can just get rid of something, but I can't. I can't get rid of these figures. I think they mean too much to me. I know that might sound cheesy because they're just things, right? I mean, would I choose them over my family? Hell no, I would not choose them over my family. But since I don't have to choose them over my family and I really don't have any financial need to sell them, getting rid of these figures is it's just not even an option for me. I remember my wife come down, and I think we've estimated my collection at over $10,000 or something like that. It's well over $7,000 just in Hot Toys alone. And I remember somebody asked me, "Will you take everything out of the box?" And I'm like, I have no intention on selling anything, so why wouldn't I take it out of the box? You know, in an earlier video, I said in a lot of cases, you're not going to lose much value in these figures anyway, so why would I sell them? I have no interest in selling them. So he has the same exact articulation as Superman. He bends in the exact same places. He's not quite as skinny as Superman is, so there's a little bit of a belly right there underneath his costume, rightly so, because he had that in the show. He bends at the knees, all that type of stuff. But the problem with Jor-El, and I think that most people would agree, at least based on my own experiences, is how do you want to pose him? He's not really an action star in the movie. If you look at his opening credit scenes, it's probably the most action-packed he was. And he fights Zod briefly, but he doesn't fight Zod in that particular costume. He doesn't fight the bad guys much in that costume. He does dive into the water, but he doesn't do it in that costume. And then when he's on the scout ship, which he's wearing a different costume than this one as the computer generated version of Jor-El, he ends up just walking around. Even when he's talking to Lois Lane, he doesn't do much more than bend his one arm and open his hand. As to when he opens his hand, it's like he's opening and closing a door, and when he closes it. So there's not really a lot of posing that you need to do with him. Like I said, the thing I like to do with him is the pose I have with him is I have him facing the codex in his hand, kind of in that Shakespearean Hamlet, when Hamlet's looking at the skull of his friend and he's talking about it. I do think there's some poeticness with having him hold the codex in that manner, so that's why I have him in that particular pose. So guys, this is my Hot Toys 1/6 scale Jor-El MMS 201. This is the collector's edition. He comes with the codex. That's why he's got the codex. The box is great, guys. It's just like the Superman box, except for you can see he's got the Krypton background versus the Fortress of Solitude. He's got the same mat on the top, the different symbol. A lot of it's the same, so I'm not going to go into too much more detail other than that. If you guys want to pick it up, you guys can look at the box and do all that type of stuff. Remember, guys, these reviews that I'm doing are more about my love of the characters than they are about the actual figure. I mean, there are so many review videos out there. If you want to see him posing in different... I think one of my best posers that I see that do figures that I collect is Dean Knight. He does a lot. I think he lives in England or something like that, and he does fantastic poses and whatnot. So if you want a great pose, Dean Knight is a great person to go and look at his channel. If you want a take on why you should buy this figure, then you should definitely watch mine, because you know the thing about me, and I talked about this in an earlier video, but I'm going to talk about it again, is I talked about why collectors collect. And I started out collecting 1/12 scale figures, which are basically action figures you can buy at Walmart. The same scale is what I'm talking about as far as Superman figures. I started out buying, I went to a comic book store in Rapid City, South Dakota, and I bought a set. And it had Aquaman in it, Batman in it, it had John Stewart's Green Lantern, it had Wonder Woman in it, and it had, that's it. That's all it had in it. And I bought that set, and that started me really going hardcore on my collecting. I still had some of the toys from my childhood, but I didn't collect a lot. And I just wanted them when I first started to kind of give me that childhood feeling. So I used to have just that one figure. And then I bought a Brainiac figure. And then I bought another 1/12 scale figure. And then my collection exploded with 1/12, 1/12, 1/12. Then I moved to Casper, Wyoming. I moved to a different area. And I was able to purchase some statues, I think. Yeah, I started collecting some statues. So just not a lot, but some statues. And then I moved back to Utah where I live, and I started collecting different scales of figures. I bought a new house, and I had a lot more space, so I was able to buy a lot more figures. And then my wife bought me, I stumbled onto a 1/12, or excuse me, a 1/6 scale Kabuto statue with a posable cape. And I did show that in another video, so if you want to look at that, you can go look at it in another video. One of my other videos, I think it's Why Collectors Collect, Beginner's Guide. It has the two Supergirls as my thumbnail for that. And I bought that one, and then it led into this Hot Toys Man of Steel, and he was posable, and I had never heard of Hot Toys before, guys. I never heard of them. And then I bought that one, and I got Jor-El, so now I have two Hot Toys. And then I discovered the Christopher Reeve Hot Toy, and I'm like, I have to have that. And then I wanted the Evil Superman. I had to have that. I went to a Comic-Con, and I saw Batman from The Dark Knight Rises, and I had to buy that, and I bought that one. Then I had to get Catwoman to go with him. And then I got the Michael Keaton Batman. By the way, he was a steal when I bought him. He was like $200, I think I bought him. And I'm like, I can't pass that up. It was $200, $250. And he's so expensive online. And I bought him because I bought him from used from a collector. And he's in great condition, so I don't regret that decision whatsoever. And then it just exploded from there, guys. And I've shown, you guys can go look at my my collection, the very first video I posted up. And you can look at it, and it's got most of the items in my collection. You can see all the things that I've added to it. And then I decided to start doing these videos because, you know, I watch a lot of these videos, these collector videos from Hot Toys, and they do a lot of Marvel, and they do a lot of things that I don't collect. I don't have any interest in collecting Marvel. I told my wife, if I start collecting Marvel Hot Toys, I'm going to start with Captain America. I'll probably end up buying Spider-Man and Iron Man, and that's really it. Like I talked about in another video, I don't have a lot of interest in buying different Marvel Hot Toys because I'm not a Marvel fan like I am Superman, but I do like Captain America, Iron Man, and Spider-Man. But guys, take a look at that video. There's stuff all over my room. If you pick this item up, you might find out you have the same problem. You just have to collect them all. And that's really where I've come, and I might put a bunch of pictures up to show you some different things. So stay tuned, guys, for my next video. I hope you like what I covered in this particular video. Make sure you like and share this video. Subscribe to my channel. That's the most important thing. Now, guys, I want to be clear. I'm not getting any monetization. I'm not making any money off these videos, at least not right now. I don't really have any intention unless I get really big to start monetizing these. So you pretty much get these videos advertisement free. But subscribing helps me out a lot because it goes instantly in your inbox, and that helps increase my views. So I'm almost to 5,000 views, guys. When I posted my last video, which was or one of my last videos, I think by the time I posted my my Catwoman review, or no, my Batman from the Batman v Superman review up, I reached 5,000 views, and I'm hoping by the time you see this video, I'll be up closer to 6,000 views. Guys, I really want to make this channel special, so if you have feedback and you want to see different content, I will cover that. I am going to stick mostly with DC, so if you're a DC fan, this is the channel for you. And we can talk about anything you want to talk about DC related, or any of the other things that you see, like I do Transformers and that type of stuff too. Eventually, guys, I'm going to run out of money, and I'm just going to show you everything in my collection one at a time. So I do have, for the next year, at least another 6 Hot Toys coming. I've got the Battle Armor Batman coming from Justice League. I've got Aquaman coming from Justice League. I've got the Training Armor Wonder Woman coming. I've got, I said Aquaman, I think, but I got Aquaman coming. I've got the Flash coming later in the year next year. And as soon as they release Cyborg for pre-order, I will have that too. So you're going to get at least another, probably 20 might be pushing it, about 20 Hot Toys videos. Most of them having to do with DC. Not all of them, but most of them having to do with DC. I'm going to do my Mattel figures, and then I'm going to do my statues. So guys, any feedback whatsoever, please share it with me, and I will help you. If you want to know how much some of this stuff costs, ask those questions, and I will help give you those answers. But I hope this has provided you with some useful information. Guys, thanks for tuning in today, and I will see you in the next video.